Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Mama June, Pumpkin bids goodbye to Honey Boo Boo sad and heartbroken. June Shannon's second eldest daughter, Lauren Ifford, is indeed one of the most admired Mama June castmates. Besides being an amazing mom to her 3 kids, she took Alana's custody when their mom lost her custody. This superwoman recently shared a video of herself weeping in her car as she bid goodbye to someone very close to her. Read further to learn more about her latest social media upload. The final episode of Mama June, Family Crisis Season 6 featured a set of mixed emotions. It had June's daughters attending their mother's beach wedding with Justin Stroud and realizing that their mother has finally found her soulmate after ending up with numerous wrong men. This happiness soon took a complete flip when they discovered Anna Cardwell's cancer. All of them found out that their not-so-little Honey Boo Boo was also set to move to Colorado for her college. Both Pumpkin and June Shannon were stunned by Alana's big reveal. The clock continued to tick, and the elder sis bid her final goodbye as she embarked on her journey to Colorado. Pumpkin took to her social media to share a video featuring a montage of her goodbye monologue and numerous other farewell photos. These pictures showcased Alana sharing hugs with her loved ones before she left Georgia. Pumpkin even expressed her feelings while captioning her latest upload. She started by claiming herself to be a mess. She continued to state that although she was sad and heartbroken, but was certain that Alana would excel in her life. Honey Boo Boo had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Pumpkin even added in her caption that she will continue to have her back, despite living 3,000 miles away. However, Mama June did not come to bid the final goodbye to her daughter. Many feel she would have certainly met her earlier and didn't capture it. The youngest daughter of Mama June, Alana Thompson, graduated from high school a couple of months back. She is now all set to embark on the next phase of her life. During an interview, Honey Boo Boo revealed that she had received a scholarship of $21,000 to Regis University in Denver, Colorado. This is one of the top 3 nursing institutions across the globe. Thus, Alana opted for neonatal nursing. After receiving this massive scholarship, this WeTV starlet also stated that she was looking for accommodation options outside the campus to live with her boyfriend, Dralin. Lauren Pumpkin Ifford sat on the edge of her bed, her phone clenched tightly in her hands, the screen still showing the last message from her little sister, Alana Honey Boo Boo Thompson. She had read it over a dozen times, but the weight of its words still pressed down on her like a lead blanket. "I love you, sis, but I need to do what's best for me. I have to go." Pumpkin's heart sank as she stared at the simple, devastating words. This was the moment she had dreaded for months, but had never truly prepared for. Alana was leaving. The bubbly, spunky, and loud-mouthed little girl, who had filled their lives with laughter and chaos, was ready to spread her wings and leave the nest, but it felt like it was happening too soon. The house, once bursting at the seams with noise, now felt like a cavernous echo of memories. Alana's infectious laugh, her playful teasing, and her larger-than-life personality had always filled the space. But now, as Pumpkin sat there in the quiet, the silence was almost unbearable. She took a deep breath, trying to keep her emotions in check. She knew this day would come eventually, but that didn't make it any easier. For the past few years, Pumpkin had taken on the role of Alana's mother figure, raising her through some of the most challenging times in their family's chaotic history. It wasn't always easy, but they had formed a bond stronger than most sisters. It was a bond built on trust, loyalty, and love. But love sometimes meant letting go. Downstairs, the sound of light footsteps made Pumpkin glance toward the door. Josh, her husband, walked in quietly, his face a mixture of concern and understanding. He had been there through every up and down, watching Pumpkin try to balance being both a sister and a mother to Alana while also raising their own kids. He didn't need to say anything, the look in his eyes told her he understood exactly what she was feeling. "Are you ready for this?" Josh asked softly, his voice breaking the silence. Pumpkin let out a shaky breath, shaking her head. "I don't think I'll ever be ready. But I know she has to do this. She needs to find herself to grow up." Josh nodded and sat down next to her, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. "You've done an amazing job raising her. She knows that. And no matter where she goes, she'll always come back to you." Pumpkin smiled faintly, but the tears that had been threatening finally spilled over. She wiped her eyes quickly, embarrassed by the flood of emotions, but Josh pulled her in closer. "It's okay to cry," he whispered. "She's your baby too." Pumpkin nodded, resting her head on his shoulder. She had spent years being the strong one, the protector, the caretaker, but now, in this moment, it was Josh's turn to hold her up. A soft knock on the door interrupted their quiet moment, and Pumpkin's heart lurched in her chest. "Alana." The door creaked open, and there stood Honey Boo Boo herself, suitcase in hand, her hair tied back in a messy ponytail, her face a mixture of excitement and fear. She was only 17, still so young, but in her eyes, Pumpkin saw the determination of someone much older. Alana had always been wise beyond her years, forced to grow up too fast because of their family's turbulent life. "Hey y'all," Alana said softly, stepping into the room, her eyes darting between her sister and Josh. I'm about to head out." Pumpkin's breath caught in her throat. This was it. The moment. The final goodbye before her little sister ventured out into the world on her own. She stood up slowly, wiping the last of her tears away, and walked over to Alana. The two of them stood there for a moment, just looking at each other, neither one sure what to say. "You know, you don't have to go," Pumpkin whispered, her voice trembling with the hope that maybe, just maybe, Alana would change her mind. Alana smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "I know. But I need to. I gotta figure out who I am without everyone else around me. I love you, Pumpkin, but I can't stay here forever." Pumpkin nodded, though her heart screamed for her to hold on tighter, to keep Alana safe from the world, but she knew she couldn't. Alana needed to find her own way, and as much as it hurt, Pumpkin had to let her. "I'm proud of you," Pumpkin said, her voice thick with emotion. "You've grown up to be so strong, so smart. I know you'll do great things." Alana's bottom lip quivered as she dropped her suitcase and rushed forward, throwing her arms around Pumpkin in a tight embrace. "Thank you for everything," she whispered into her sister's shoulder. "You've always been there for me, even when Mama couldn't be. I'll never forget that." Pumpkin squeezed her eyes shut, holding Alana as tightly as she could, trying to memorize the feel of her in her arms before she had to let go. "You always have a home here," Pumpkin murmured. "No matter where you go, you can always come back." Alana nodded, her tears finally spilling over. "I know." Josh stood quietly to the side, giving the sisters their moment. He knew how hard this was for Pumpkin and didn't want to intrude, but when Alana pulled away and turned to face him, he gave her a small, encouraging smile. "Take care of yourself, kid," he said, pulling her into a hug. "And if you ever need anything, you know where we are." "I will," Alana promised, her voice barely above a whisper. With one last glance at the room, at her family, Alana picked up her suitcase and walked toward the door. Pumpkin felt like her heart was being ripped out of her chest as she watched her little sister, the girl she had raised, protected, and loved, walk away. The door clicked shut behind Alana, and the silence that followed was deafening. Pumpkin stood there for a long moment, her chest tight with the weight of the goodbye. "She'll be okay," Josh said softly, placing a hand on her shoulder. Pumpkin nodded, though the tears streamed down her face once again. "I know. I just hope I will be too." As Alana's car pulled away from the driveway, Pumpkin whispered one final goodbye, her heart aching but full of love. She had done her best, and now it was time for Alana to fly.